G'day, Heath here from pickandlessons.com. Eleanor Plunkett. This is a great O'Carolan tune. It's a very pretty melody, and in this arrangement we're going to take a look at a chord melody version on the mandolin. We're in the key of G, and in a moment we're going to take a look at part A. There are two parts, so we're going to have a look at part A here in this video. But if you head over to pickandlessons.com, you better grab yourself a copy of the tablature. It will also break down part B in the lessons there in the members section, and you'll have a play along track there as well. So pickandlessons.com. Let's start out having a look through part A. So we are in the key of G, and we are approaching this in a chord melody style of playing. So we're going to support our melody with the chords from the accompaniment. So at certain times we'll bring in some of these chords. So for example, our melody to begin with, first couple of measures, bringing in some of those chords. Some of them are easier, some of them are harder to play, but you can hear how lovely it is to bring in support that. It's a really nice way of playing. It's a really nice slow melody. That's the first thing. We're in 3/4 time and it's a slow air. So it's very, very chilled kind of tempo that we want. So that's going to be a bit of a bonus in terms of getting our hand positions. Some of those chords we've got to play are a bit more challenging. Some of them are quite straightforward. Let's have a look from the beginning because we do have an easy one to kick it off. Our pickup notes there are on the third beat. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 1 to our first chord there in the first beat of the first measure. That's an easy one. So we've got the melody note, which is always on top of the chord, second fret there, the B, and we're going to play the open G and D strings from our G chord. So as we strum through, we have a couple of options. We can kind of exaggerate our strum, take our time moving through, or we can try and hit that a little bit more crisp. Either way, it's something you can play around with as you get more comfortable with what we're doing, but it works both ways. Or, and you may find that interpretation will change as you play. That's really important. But the melody note is on top. That's the crucial thing. So we want to hear. So kind of emphasize as you follow through. It will be emphasized on its own pretty much anyway because it's the highest note that we're playing. So that higher pitched note tends to want to stand out to our ear. But also as we follow through, if you can kind of get that last little bit of a push through that last string, it certainly helps us to bump it up as well. So just be mindful, melody is the highest note when we do play a chord, and that note does want to be more dominant than the other notes in the chord. Moving through first measure, so we have that chord to begin with, the G, then melody, very quick sort of grace note hammer on pull off there. So 1, 2, 3, and. So the hammer and pull off there, second to third, so the beat of the C, first and second fingers. 3, and. So it all happens in that first part of the beat, very quick, then the upstroke on the open string. Measure 2, that next chord there, we have this lovely double stop. We've got the B on the bottom and G on top. And of course our melody is the G. High G there for the melody next. So our chord shape is just that open G, very easy. Upstroke there, watch our picking. So rhythm wise, just follow the down up for the 8th notes and down on the quarter notes. So we have the double stop G, high G, yeah. Moving on, we'll come back through this in a moment. So the C, measure 3. C we have here, melodies on top, the E. So we want this double stop G and C, 5th and 3rd frets. Notice that the melody's more prominent than the other notes. Stands out, that's what we want. Next chord, now this is one of the more challenging ones. Position wise, so we want to bar that first finger. We're at fret 5 with our bar in measure 3 there, beat 3. Barring on 5th fret, 3rd finger on fret 7, nice and strong. The upstroke, we take our 3rd finger off and we're barring. So we want to make sure our first finger is nice and parallel with the fret. If you find yourself wandering this way, you'll get a little bit of a potential buzz in there, yeah? So if you can try and just square that finger up along the fret, it certainly helps to have that note nice and clear. Down to our G there, B melody note. So this third beat here, flick, E, and. So we want to play the B, flick, and then move to the G melody note there in the 3 and rhythm. So 2/16 to the 8th. Picking wise, strum with the downstroke, pull off, upstroke, ready for the next downbeat. Now I've only got a couple of measures to go. So this part A here is only 6 measures before we repeat. So our 5th measure here to the A minor position, C and E, melody note to the E. We hold that for beat 2 and then the melody note becomes the A. So we move through to the A string. Yeah, then the down up on the open A and the B. Notice as we move through, something you want to try and keep an eye on is that your fingers are holding those notes for as long as possible. So don't just remove the chord randomly. If you can hold on to that chord, hold on to it until we need to change. This is a good example, yeah? So we're going to hold the A minor, keep holding it, keep holding it. First finger can move, but I've still got my third finger there. So I'm holding that low C note all the way through just to kind of build on the sound that we're generating by playing these chords. That's really an important part of this technique. So do hold on to what you can for as long as you can until you need to change. The 6th measure, open, that's a dotted quarter note. So 1, 2, and is the next beat. So next note, 1, 2. Now we have a triplet hammer-on pull-off at 16th note. So 1, 2, triplet. Second half of second beat. Da 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 da. 1, 2. And again, 1, 2. And that takes us back and we repeat. So this section does repeat twice. So watch those chords. Hold on to the notes. Hold on to the notes. Hold on, hold on. Change. Hold. Change, but hold and hold. So we're holding onto our notes, we're letting them ring out for as long as we can. Watch the right hand, it's really slow. So if you did play everything down, it's actually not really going to be that big a deal. There's a few 16th notes we've got to watch in there. But following that rhythm does work. It's a slow one, remember, it's a slow tempo. We don't want to play this too fast, but that will help get those chord positions. Probably the hardest one at the moment is that C in measure 3. But just watch that bar position, but just do hold on to those notes for as long as possible, pretty much until you change chords, until you need to change. Okay, pickandlessons.com. Grab yourself a copy of the tablature. In the member section, we are going to break down part B. We've got some more challenging chords. Part B is certainly harder to play, but we'll certainly break that down in the member section. So pickandlessons.com. I'll see you there.